if it was quicker to get monetized on Facebook, I would probably have more of them, but like they're kind of weird about that.
Yeah.
You have to get like invited.
Yeah. I got invited for like my regular page a while back, but then I saw that my views went down so much. And it was the same on Instagram where I could be getting 10, 20, 100,000 views on some videos, but then I decide, okay, I am going to monetize it. And then my views tank.
They don't want to pay you.
And I'm like, all right, am I overthinking this? Is it Instagram actually not more Meta not actually wanting to push it, so they don't have to pay me as much?
Yeah.
Or am I not making the right content? Because I feel like at this point, I mean, last year across all the pages that, I manage or that my company manages, it was something like I made like 8,000 and the company made 10,000. So at this point, I know what is going to do good. I can make a post and know, yeah, it's not going to do very, very well. I'm still going to post it because it's something that I want to post.
Yeah.
Or I could build a piece of content that's strategic that I'm like, all right, this should do well. And 8 times out of 10, probably, it will do well. But when I was doing that and it still wasn't doing well after I monetized the page, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Demonetize the page or, turn off monetization. And then it goes back to normal. And I'm like, okay, what's switching up here?
It's different than the way that TikTok does it. Is TikTok, when a video is doing really well, the CPM will start to drop.
Okay, yeah.
The more views you get, the lower your CPM starts to go, and it just like falls off a cliff, like down to like pennies, from like maybe like $1 to like pennies, and you're just like, damn, like as like you're almost getting rewarded.
Yeah.
For doing well. Like you're almost getting like punished for doing well.
Yeah, the only time I ever really made money off of socials that I was like, okay, this is actually kind of nice, was when I came here like 5 years ago and I had just started my YouTube channel and I had one video from Les Mullets take off, or 2 videos from Les Mullets take off, where I was just hanging out with people. And I made $800 that month on YouTube. And at the time I didn't have my business. I didn't have a job. Like it was $800 and I was like, this is sick. But then after that, nothing. I would go back to making like 3 or 4 videos a week and they weren't getting the views, obviously, because, it was a big event and all that. But after that, I was like, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm making content because I want to make content and then be able to supplement, my lifestyle or, bills and the builds and all that.
And that was like 2020 when YouTube was still... Right, like 2019, maybe even earlier than that.
Yeah, it was a lot easier to grow a following, I feel, back then.
It was definitely easier to get views on YouTube then than it is now.
Yeah.
Because YouTube views have kind of like pyramided up. Like there's still a lot of views, but they're all just like to the same people.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a mental block people have to clicking a channel with lower views.
Yeah, of course.
It's like
nobody else is watching this. Why would I want to watch it?
Yeah, it's such a mental block no matter how good the title and thumbnail looks.
Yeah. I posted my first YouTube video in a year and a half, like 2 weeks ago, and it got like 100 views.
Yeah.
I mean, the page has like 5,000 subscribers. It's not anything big, but I was still like, wow, I could post clips of this on Instagram or Facebook, primarily Instagram, and get 30, 40,000 views like easily.
Yeah.
So why is YouTube just not like working for me?
Well, me and Mitchell talked about that because his content gets stolen and put on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, just download their video and put it back up. Like, it's your video. Like, oh, you saw somebody got good views? Like, I'm just going to steal your video and put it on there. Because what, are they going to copyright strike you?
Yeah. It's crazy to see that people are making money by stealing others' content. Like, just straight off.
I personally don't mind it. Like, if somebody popped up and they were watching my podcast, clipping it and putting it on socials, I don't think I would care that much.
Well,
I genuinely wouldn't. They can do that. If somebody is out there and wants to make a full-time living clipping my podcast and putting it on Facebook and Instagram, like YouTube, TikTok, I don't care. By all means, live it up.
You're still the one talking. They're still making it about you. So at the end of the day, people are going to recognize you. They're not going to recognize that person. So
yeah, I'm good. And if you put up a minute clip and 10 people come to watch the full episode, great.
Yeah.
Like, more advertising.
Yeah, it's better for you. I mean, it's more views.
There's actually Sean Ryan, who has a podcast, like he's one of the biggest podcasters. They put out their episodes in Google Drives for people to do that. They put clips. They put
for people to clip their clips.
Yeah, they're like he tells people in the episode. He's like, take it, make money, monetize it. We don't care. All we ask is you link it back to the channel. That's all we want. And there's probably people out there making full-time livings off of clipping a podcast.
I wonder what the first person's thought was to be like, I'm going to take their content, clip it, and then just make another page.
Yeah, you just start a TikTok.
Yeah.
Like Sean Ryan show clips.
Yeah. Like that person was smart. I mean, they capitalized on something that, nobody else was doing, but now you see it a lot.
Yeah, but it's still, you don't need that much. Yeah. You don't need, what is it? Like, you don't need that much to make a living when you have no real overhead besides maybe a phone.
Yeah.
And you could just spam clips out.
Yeah.
God knows how many you can put out in a freaking day if you're just making clips. Well, and then there's AI bots that can make it too.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Then you don't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
You just put it into an AI chatbot and it just
And I've tried those out, and I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then there's obviously people, on Fiverr and stuff that are doing it for super cheap, but then they don't understand the automotive community can be kind of, serious when it comes to some things. And so if a person makes or clips a video, and makes reels off of it, and one little thing is wrong and that slips by, the creator that's posting it, then it can obviously go pretty bad. But
there's definitely some nuance to it and stuff. I was surprised to hear when I was on the Street Alpha podcast, he was like, oh yeah, I edit this. I'm like, we just talked for 2.5 hours. You go through and edit that? Respect. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit there for that long and edit through and take things out and
Yeah. That is the good thing about you doing a podcast is you don't have much editing time.
No.
You put a intro on it and a outro and
just kind of splice the audio with the video.
Yeah.
And even that's probably more than I really have to do. I just keep them separate for simplicity's sake.
Yeah. It's crazy how many or how big podcasts got. And I like it because I listen to more podcasts than I think I do YouTube or watch YouTube videos, which is kind of funny. I try to stay off social media, but I do like podcasts when I'm at the gym or driving.
You don't do a scroll?
If I do, it's late at night, and it's usually my TikTok is not anything car related. It's usually funny kid videos or animals.
Do you think short form is going to take over a long form?
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's just inevitability that there's going to be so much less long form?
Oh yeah, it's already happening. I mean, we see it more and more every day.
Either super long form or 1 minute. Either a podcast or 1 minute.
Yeah, because you see some videos that people are making on YouTube that are an hour long. And I will say I like those, but I mean, you and I live similar lifestyles where it's sometimes we only get 5 minutes, or we're sitting on the toilet, and we get 5 minutes to scroll real quick. So you can get so much more in short form, but I also think that it's not great for you,
I had a buddy telling me, he was like, yeah, on my lunch break, I gotta hyper scroll. And he's like, I try to get as much in as possible. I'm like, dude, that's insane to just be I just bomb through things as fast as I can.
Yeah.
That to me is that's I don't even know. You gotta at least absorb it a little bit. Yeah. I'm pretty bad. When I wake up to feed Brindley in the middle of the night, I'll scroll through while I'm feeding her. And I'm man.
When Chloe was young, and she would be awake or she would have those wake windows where she would be up for an hour and a half at 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. My wife and I would definitely, scroll on TikTok, or, while we were hanging out with her or watch movies. We watched Paul Blart several times, which was funny.
Multiple Paul Blarts.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good movie. It was good to just stay awake and watch it.
Yeah, something.
But then we found ourselves Chloe went back to sleep and we're still watching and we're shit, we need to go to bed.
Yeah, me and Bronte were always so scared to have the TV on. It was so bright. I was no, we don't want it to be too bright.
Yeah. you got to turn it down, turn the brightness down, turn the volume down, and then you're like trying to squint. Like, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, a lot of the time I'll just have like AirPods in, trying to just like listen to something or try to like, it's like a semblance of normalcy almost to like hear like an adult talking when you're dealing with a kid all the time. Yeah. It's nice to have like a little bit of like a maturity almost. Yeah. And then when you're with like your wife at that time, you're so like baby focused that all your conversations are like baby centric. Yeah. And you like step back and you're like,
it's like, what did we used to talk
about? Get away from that. Like, it's just like, not that it's like a bad thing. It's just like, that's a lot.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I think short form, I mean, it's great. It's helped me grow, a small following, just by posting like trendy style videos of my truck. But honestly,
I don't like to tell people about it. I don't like to tell people like,
post more short form.
Yeah.
Yeah, post more reels.
Yeah, I like to tell them like, hey, just stick to making 25-minute YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Every 2 days.
You're gatekeeping. No, but it makes sense. I mean, I think that when TikTok became big and like anybody could really grow a following quickly, I think we saw a big shift. And then obviously Instagram came out with Reels, and then YouTube did Shorts and all that. Mm-hmm. I think at some point it is like just kind of oversaturated, but it's not going to go away. I don't think long form is going to come back to be like what it was, back in 2016 to 2020. It was
like the only thing.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up like the first YouTuber I remember watching was Roman Atwood. Like I started watching when I was like 13. I'm 25 now. And I would watch him every single day. I mean, he would do, daily vlogs, daily videos.
Yeah.
And
still does.
Yeah. I do.
To this day, I think he still does.
I stay off of, if I don't have to go on socials, I don't. Like if I'm not working or like posting from, myself, I'm not on it. Like I just don't care to go on it anymore.
Not easy.
Yeah. At some point though, I'm just like, I want to focus on, you get it. I want to focus on my kid.
Yeah.
Or I want to focus on working on the car. But, seeing how long form was so popular back then. And then like when you and Garrett, started, and I remember watching like some of your guys' first videos where you're blowing up the little turbo whistles and stuff, like
very dumb things.
Yeah. Early on, but those like caught on quick.
Yeah.
But social media is so different.
I was going to say you couldn't make those now.
No.
Those would be like laughed at.
Yeah.
I mean, they were comical in the moment, but now they would be like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. But no, it's funny because it's kind of like a full circle moment where I met Garrett back in like 2015. I think I met him on the first race week, which is when I think he did the first Cletus video.
Yeah.
But to see him get big off that, and I remember like watching that video in Pueblo, like in the hotel, like that night when Kyle posted it, and just being like, what the heck, like this is funny, but oh my gosh. And then to see how it took off, and then to see him start doing long form with you, and then to like come here in 2020, hang out with you guys, and then now, doing a podcast with you. It's crazy, but like seeing how much has changed, because that was in 2015. So we're talking 11 years ago now. Mm-hmm. Social media is a way different animal.
Yeah. And to intro you a little bit here, Cole Reynolds, he's been on like all of the race weeks since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah. Not in the last like 2 years, but I went on a lot of sick weeks, a lot of drag and drives.
Yeah. A lot of drag and drives. You've been around motorsports for your entire life. 25 now. You've run social medias for a dozen or so.
I think we're at like 15 right now.
Yeah. So you build social media websites, CR23. You help people. You coach. Coach is probably the wrong word. You consult people on their social media and run it for them in the automotive sector.
Yeah.
So your insight is very unique and very broad across the spectrum of things, because you work with companies across that spectrum. It's not all in the same segment in the automotive. So it's really interesting to get that side of things. So to intro you a little bit, even though we're already in it, it's just, for people that don't know.
And we kind of just jumped right in.
I like to do that a little bit when it's just kind of rolling, but then I kind of have to go back and intro a little bit.
No,
But yeah, so if you want to learn more about social media stuff, I'm sure we'll talk a good amount of that because, I don't know, between me and you, we probably have 20 to 25 years of social media management.
I've been doing it, I guess, 7 years now. Been running socials for other people. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't have a giant following myself. I think it's because I focus too much on other people's stuff, but we've run pages from 300 followers all the way up to 4 million followers. Yeah. And across the board, it's like the same things always stick. And it's kind of funny to see how different pages will grow, you know, just based off of like what community they kind of have around them or what segment of the automotive world they're in. But yeah,
and
it's crazy.
I think a lot of people just have the wrong motivation a lot of the time, or they have the wrong idea of what their page is going to be and what it should be.
Yeah. They think it'll like just take off like one viral video and they think they'll get, 100K followers.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And it's funny because you're like, hey, you know what this used to be like? You used to have to just like put your shit in a magazine and hope.
Yeah.
I mean, people still do that, which is insane. Yeah, sorry.
I'm not going to talk about that.
I've said it for years that it's insane. Yeah. I mean, my words, not yours. Like,
yeah, it's interesting, but like I think that one thing that we always run into is, like I said, people think that one viral video or one big video is going to grow their socials and like get them a ton of sales. I've had videos that hit 10 million views on my personal channel, and I'll get like a couple thousand followers, but think of how much content you have to make and produce to like actually grow a big, like yours. How many posts do you think you've made since you started?
I can tell you in the last like year on one of the pages, it's probably been like 365 days. It's probably been 500-600 posts.
Yeah.
600 videos.
Yeah.
600 1-minute videos.
Yeah. And then think of how many years you've been doing this and how many other pages you've done it for.
Yeah.
So
I know, it's crazy.
People, they're not consistent. They just think, oh, I'm going to do this for a year and like be giant. And I guess some people get a lucky break and, blow up. But for the average person or the average company, it's not going to happen.
But it's practice too. Like you got to make 1,000 posts to even understand.
Yeah.
To even have any gauge of it. And that's why I go back to the YouTube thing. It's like you want to learn what does better. It's going to be really hard if you do it one time a week.
Yeah.
If you do it twice a day on a different platform, you're going to learn really fast what works and doesn't.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to adjust really fast.
Yeah.
If you do one YouTube video a week, it's going to take you so long to like fine tune what you're trying to portray to the world.
And most people are just too scared to start. I get so many people that come up to me and they're like, oh man, I want to start like posting on social media, or I want to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, do it. And they're like, well, I don't have much to post. I'm like, dude, go film, your car at a track day, or like at a test and tune day at the drag strip. So you drive a Nissan Altima, okay, take it out.
Yeah.
See what it'll run. Clickbait the hell out of it. Say like took my stock Nissan Altima to a track day. But
and then you'll see some like TikTok channels of just like one car, and it's always at this gas station. It's just like B-roll videos.
Oh yeah,
and the guy's just like, same car just out there
trending audio,
chipping away. Trending audios or a meme.
They're just like,
yep.
But hey,
tell that guy he's got nothing to post. Yeah, and it's the same shit every time.
Yeah,
but it works.
I always tell, because a big thing that I want to, promote is like more kids getting into the automotive space. And I was lucky enough I went to the Detroit Autorama, I guess it was like a month and a half ago with Summit. I took my truck up there and I spoke in front of like 4,000 students. And the biggest thing that I was telling them was just start. Like you don't need permission from somebody. Mm-hmm. You don't need money, just start small. Just go out and start.
How do you think you make it consumable enough for kids? What do you think the gateway is?
I mean, I think it's hard because so many, and it's kind of weird for me to say this, but like so many kids nowadays see like these crazy builds that are blowing up, and they're like, oh, shit, I don't have.
Yeah, you almost write it off.
You're like I don't have $200,000 to go spend on a build, on a Corvette or something. Mm-hmm. I was in a different area because like I bought the truck when I was 13 for like $700, and then I slowly started building it. And I mean, the truck, people have asked.
$700 love truck?
Yeah.
Where are those at?
They're not around anymore, but
yeah.
I probably have close to, if I had to guess, $120K in it. But that's over 10 years of buying and accumulating parts and then building it myself. I wasn't paying another shop. But there are some of these creators that either come from money or, get lucky and then have giveaways and stuff and are able to afford nicer cars. But you see a 21-year-old with a freaking McLaren and you're like, I'm 25, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not going to be able to get to that level. So I think more creators should focus on like those cheap car challenges, or the budget builds that are like more attainable for everybody. And I think that it's sort of coming back around, but it's hard for kids to get in nowadays because they see how much money it does take to have like a crazy cool
something
car.
Respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah. In their mind.
Yeah.
Having a car of any kind is already respectable, but everybody's like, oh, I need a G80 M3 to be anybody, and it's like you don't need an M3.
Yeah.
You don't need a Hellcat to start off. Like your first car doesn't have to be a Hellcat. And I think that where a lot of people fall. But even younger than that, how do you get them interested in cars? Or you think they're already interested in cars and by like the age of like 15 maybe they're like lose it because they're like, oh, it's so unattainable?
I mean, I think social media definitely helps. Especially with how many kids are getting on social media at a younger age now. So it does trigger something in them like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I'm different because I grew up around cars, but like right now, I'm slowly getting my daughter into cars where it's like, if we're at an event, like I'm putting her in my truck with me, or like giving her a monster truck or something. So I never want to like force it onto somebody, but just making sure that like entrance fees and stuff aren't super expensive either. Because some of these tickets to events, you're paying $30 per adult and then like $10 for some kids.
Yeah.
And then parking's $25 and a freaking soda is $8. It's like,
you gonna call out TX2K like that, dude?
Yeah.
A $40 lemonade?
Yeah. And then having to, pay for parking every single day and all that.
I heard a couple of things about the lemonades there.
Oh yeah, you got unlimited refills. I never bought one, but I was asking people, and I think somebody told me at the beginning of the week they were like $20. Then by the end of the week they were $30. I don't know if that's true.
It's a sliding scale.
Yeah, somebody came up and they were like, "Oh man, I had $30 because I was selling shirts." And they were like, "Oh, I had $30, but I just bought the lemonade." I was like, "That lemonade cost you $30?" And they're like, "Yeah, I get unlimited refills." I was like, "Bro, you're getting lemonade for a day." I was like, you could have bought a shirt and had a shirt for life,
How much lemonade are you going to drink?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have one of those and I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah,
it's
that's
half
a lot
sugar.
of lemonade. That's what I mean. How much lemonade do you plan on drinking in this one day?
Yeah, but making events like more attainable for the average person, because what family is going to come out there and have, 2 kids, 2 adults, all in one car and spend over $100?
Yeah.
When they can go to a movie or stay at home or go to freaking putt-putt, and spend less. It's like, all right, let's have like these family discounts or something, or just not charge as much for, tickets.
Yeah, it's really hard to get people to come to a drag strip.
Yeah.
And even, I think Coda's going private, right? Like,
yeah.
Road courses are going private faster than anything.
Yeah.
And that's like almost
it's all
like
the country club.
That's a dying thing.
Mentality, yeah.
Like autocross is kind of pretty much gone, but like road coursing your car is like a disappearing thing. Even like Pittsburgh just sold to a data center.
Yeah.
race, what do they call it? Like pit race or something?
Yeah, pit race hold. Mm-hmm. And it's so expensive to like do a track day now. You know, like even if you wanted to go to Coda and run like an Edge Addicts event, I think it's something like $1,000 to go run one weekend.
Yeah.
I don't have $1,000 just laying around to go run Coda. You know, and there are some autocrosses that are cheaper. Like I have one coming up that's an Equip Repeat or Equip Rapid. It's some weird name, but it was like $50, but I get like 4 runs around an autocross, which an autocross is literally just a parking lot full of cones.
Yeah, so what is it, like a 30-second?
Yeah. So I pay $40 or I pay $10 a run. And then I have to go shag cones while other people are racing. So if somebody hits a cone, I have to go pick it up.
Oh, so they put you to work too?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's free labor, and I only get 4 runs, which I'm not trying to knock anybody. Like I used to run like with a sanctioning body on the West Coast called NMCA West, and a group called the Racing Birds put it on, and we would get like 12 runs a day, and it was a Saturday, Sunday thing, and I think a ticket was like $100. But you're talking 24 runs, and then some days at the end of the day you got fun runs, which is just like go out there and have fun. You also didn't have to shag cones. It was also a giant course where it's like a 50-second course where you're hitting over 100 mile an hour. That was fun. But, you know, all these SCCAs and ER events and I'm not trying to knock anybody, by the way, like they're the only autocross events out there right now, like, or around Texas that I know of. So yeah. I'm going to still run them. You know, it's not like I'm not going to, but like make them more fun, make them, you know, be able to have more runs or, you know, not have to shag cones.
Something. And there's so many, like, it's weird too, because there's also this, like, there's a lot of oval tracks that sit empty.
Oh, yeah.
But those pretty much never have streetcars on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the center field, like, even like the center area of, you know, the Freedom Factory could be an awesome place to have some racing.
Yeah.
For streetcars.
I think it'd be awesome
like
to put
late
like
model or something like that.
No, I get it.
Like a 410 sprint car. You know, we're talking like a true street cars that everybody has. Like somebody with their S2000 wants to go have fun. It's like I don't know anywhere you can do it around here besides like going to Sebring, which is like a huge commitment.
It'd be fun to put on like a Super Bowl of autocrosses, you know, at the Freedom Factory. I mean, probably the biggest autocross is like SCCA Nationals, and I think it's in Nebraska or something. But having something like super fun at the Freedom Factory where you do kind of run on the banks, but then you go on the infield, you know, I think that would be super cool.
Because they did spectator drags, but that's so different.
Oh, yeah. It's
like such a
risk.
That's
another world. Oh, yeah. I would never run spectator drags in my truck.
Oh, man. Dude, like, I kind of felt that with my CTSV when they were first doing it. I was like, and then I was like, nope.
All it takes is one dumb person to
just push through. I could be the dumb person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, oh, somebody else will be dumb. Like, I could easily lose, like, you know, get a little ahead of myself on a turn and, like, you know, think I can get around somebody or something dumb.
It was cool to see Justin Peachy when he brought out his Corvette because he runs that in, like, Grid Life Track Mod, and I'm going to run Grid Life with the truck. But he brought out that C6 Corvette that said Hawk down the side and, like, BTR and stuff. And he killed it out there. I mean, he was fast at spectator drags, but I'm also like, dude, all it takes is one person. But yeah,
it's hard
just
to beat
get sideways. And, yeah, it is. I mean,
which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
like it's hard to beat them
so fast.
They do.
You know, they just dig right away.
It seemed like a good way to beat them was you get close enough to them to where they like
get scared,
and they like they automatically back off.
I was thinking like get close to them to where the guys get scared.
No,
and
like
they get offline, but
the car like tries to protect itself.
That's interesting.
If it's in that mode, if it's not in like, I don't even know if you can take it out of a mode where it's like.
Yeah, like track mode doesn't have that.
Yeah, like where you're really, but even in track mode, like you get a little too close to a wall. I wonder if it'll like pull you away. That sounds really dangerous.
It does. Dude, even when I'm like towing and I accidentally have lane assist on, I hate it because like I'll just be like cruising down and I'll get a little towards the lane and it'll like pull me and I'm like, oh, crap. Oh, I don't want to, start making the thing sway, but
it's General Motors lane assist, so it's always like
if it's not that Tesla, lane assist, or I'm sure it's super smooth and like
the level of tech that the big three can put into their vehicles is lacking these days.
Yeah. Does your truck have lane assist?
No.
I feel like your truck is, we were talking about this earlier. I think your truck is like part of that last like super nice generation where it was none of the stupid nannies and all the, crap.
17. It's about as far as you need to go. It doesn't, I mean, it's diesel, so no auto start, auto start stop, none of that.
Yeah,
it's still DVF, but.
Yeah. For context, I have a 2024 Sierra 1500.
Old 5.3.
Yes.
Saw that badge on the side. Yeah. I mean, the 6.2s in that year were so sketchy to own.
Yeah, like everybody got recalled.
Yep.
Which is just insane. And then like a buddy of mine has the baby Duramax. We were talking about that earlier where it just doesn't make sense when diesel prices are going so high versus like my truck tows a 26-foot enclosed V-nose steel trailer perfectly fine with my truck in it. I think I weighed it all together and it was like 7,500 pounds. So I get like 8.5 miles to the gallon, on average, but it does fine.
But like people always say, a gas truck will tow as much as you want.
Yeah.
As much as you can afford.
Yeah.
It will tow. Yeah. And when you feel a crosswind, that's when you know.
Yep.
When you whoa, is that? Like you can't just like pull through the crosswind. Like it'll.
Or if a big rig goes past you at like 5 miles an hour faster, it'll just suck you right there, and you're like, oh crap! Like it does get sketchy, especially at night. When you're not paying too close of attention.
I know everybody. When I got my 2500, they were like, "Oh, you could do a 1500." I'm like, "Yeah, but." Once you tow with a 2500, it's just like, it just makes sense.
Yeah. I will probably make the switch. I posted on Facebook yesterday. I was like, what would you get? A Chevy 2500 or a Ford F-250? And a lot of people were like, get a Ram.
Yeah.
Ram 2500. I'm like, no.
Get you a Ram 2500.
Yeah.
They're actually,
I hear they're
I
nice.
hate to say it, they're pretty good now.
Yeah.
The 2500 stuff. The brand new stuff with the ZF transmissions. Because they used to use the 68 RFEs that were just complete dog shit. That would break so often, even like the fully built ones. But then they switched to ZF 8-speed, and it's like...
They're pretty good.
It's really good. And at the
just
same
don't like the look of them.
GM and Ford are using the 10 speeds that are not good.
Dying. Yeah.
So it's like, I hate to give it to Dodge.
Yeah.
I hate to give it to them.
Yeah.
And
that was the general consensus on my Facebook. Like most people were saying Ram. Yeah. But I'm like, I didn't ask for Ram. I said Ford F-250 or GM 2500.
And I like the GM because I like the independent front suspension. It rides smoother than the solid front axles like everything else has for the most part.
Yeah.
Kind of just gives it that little bit more of a quality ride.
I will say like looks wise, they're even to me. Like if I was to get a GM, I would get a GMC again. I think the GMCs look better than the Chevys, but the Fords look good, and then the Ford interiors I like a lot.
I think their infotainment still sucks, though. I think it's still... I think all three are still about 10 years outdated.
Yeah.
From what we should have right now. I mean, your wife got a new Kia.
Yeah.
You probably feel like that's in the future compared to some of the GM tech. Yeah,
when we were looking at like different cars, it's funny. Like we got my wife a 26 Kia Telluride, and it's a nice car. Yeah. Like I enjoy driving it. It's front wheel drive, which is weird, but it'll skirt the tires, from the stoplight if you gas it, and it's just a comfortable car. The seats feel nice. Like you said, the infotainment is nice. It just feels modern. And my truck has the big screen and the center console and all that, so it feels nicer than like when they had like the crappy little screen.
Yep.
But
it's outdated. It does dumb things. Like my wife has a 2021 Tahoe, and she's got AirPlay up. Yeah. And you click to do something on the...
It freezes or what?
No, you click to do something with like the air conditioning, and it like takes you out of CarPlay. And then you have to like go back to it. Like it's so not seamless. I'm like, what is how is the interface so not seamless now?
Yeah,
and I'm not even a guy that does
stop.
that. I've never connected a phone to Bluetooth because I don't care. I don't listen to music. I don't care.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me, but I'm just like, this is dumb. Like, it takes you out of your directions to do the air conditioning. Then you have to like click 3 things to get back.
Yeah. I've had it where it just like randomly stops or like the screen freezes up. And I think I bought the truck new and like 2 weeks later it just like froze like the screen did. And I call the dealership and they're like, oh, just let the truck sit for like 5 minutes. You probably started it when it was doing an update. And I was like, why is it doing an update at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Like do it at like 2:30 in the morning or something. But
they were just recalling all the Corvettes for a recall on an over-the-air update issue where you would think that you would click your blinker, it would be indicating that your blinker's on, but your blinker wasn't on.
Oh, jeez.
It was like 60,000 Corvettes are like, yeah, the blinkers aren't communicating well. It's like, gosh, Chevy, like, come on. This is your flagship car.
Yeah.
You literally only have a Corvette to worry about. Nothing else you have is very good. Just focus on your Corvettes and your Tahoes.
Yeah, you ain't got the Camaro anymore. So
no, I hear rumbles of it.
Yeah, I saw something the other day, but who knows?
Could it be all clickbait?
Probably.
Yeah. Do you use, for all your management, you just like make AI clickbait and just like spam it out? Like
AI is, I mean, there's use for it, here and there, but I'm tired of seeing all the like AI graphics and brochures that everybody's putting up.
That's a tough one. It really is, because I understand the
Oh, I understand it too.
Like
I understand
the using
why.
of it, and you've worked with graphic designers.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to use AI.
And it's difficult sometimes to
use
a
them.
graphic designer. Who knows when you're going to get it?
Yeah.
Like, you could spend 3 hours trying to explain to them what you want and they come back wrong.
Yeah. But these like over the top AI brochures that have like a freaking volcano and a city and a car, and it gets to be too much. But like I said, there's a time and a place for AI.
You know what my favorite use of AI is? And it's so funny, is when you go on Facebook Marketplace and it's like a photo of a car and they'll have like a hot girl standing next to it, AI'd into like the cover photo for a Facebook Marketplace
I haven't seen those.
Oh,
I guess I haven't been on Facebook Marketplace in a minute.
It's a thing. Like, you're selling your new... I saw it the other day, like somebody was selling like a boat, or somebody was selling a side-by-side, and they had like a hot girl standing next to it that they just AI'd into it. But putting it as the cover photo is pretty genius.
It does grab attention. Clickbait on Marketplace.
Clickbaiting Marketplace is such a power move to clickbait people in.
Jeez.
I saw somebody had like a pack of golden retrievers in one.
Really?
Yeah, they were like selling a house, and there was just like in the pool area there was like 50 Goldens hanging out. I was like, that one's a little more respectful than the female standing there.
Yeah, Marketplace is an interesting place. I've sold a lot on there. I haven't bought a lot from Marketplace.
My wife sold a bunch of our furniture the other day and hasn't even replaced it yet. She sold all of our stools, and we haven't gotten new stools yet.
Yeah, we're about to sell our. We just bought a new house, and we're getting a new couch. And I know that I'll probably have to deal with the Marketplace bozos when I'm selling that couch. But
people lowballing you.
I'm okay with like lowballing. It's the people that are like, I'll come pick it up today, and I'm like, all right, cool. Here's my address, or like, here's where we meet, and then they don't show up. And I'm like, you just wasted so much time.
Yeah. I have also, like, I hate to say it like this, but like a floor of how cheap of an item I will bother selling on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to sell a $20 item.
Yeah, and it's like, man, like, it's $20, but it's like, I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, I'm going to spend an hour meeting a dude at a park. It's like that hour cost me a lot more than the $20 that we just got for
and
a
the
freaking candle
and
holder.
The messages and stuff, and like, I'm not trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
I actually do think that when there's, I don't know how you would do it, but I was thinking about this the other day, and when drag and drives come through your area, you should list more shit on Facebook Marketplace, your car stuff, parts.
I think somebody should, like I did this a couple of times, where I would take spare parts that I had, like at my shop, and put them in the back of my truck and just list in the RMRWers group, which is the Rocky Mountain Race Weekers group, and just say, hey, if anybody needs this along the way, I have a 5th gen Camaro rear diff, or I have these valve covers. I sold everything every time. I sold a Camaro diff to a dude who was just like, I'd like a spare, for this event. And I'm like, hell yeah,
But
here you go.
that's what I mean, though. Like, you got to list that shit on Marketplace when they're in town.
Yeah.
Even if you don't even plan to sell it, somebody might need it be in an emergency and need it.
Yeah. And, I mean, you've been on Dragon Drives enough where it's always like the dumbest stuff breaks. And it's the one thing that you decide not to bring because you're like, nah, I don't need to bring that.
Yeah.
And that's what breaks.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some things that it's like, man, you really should have had a second one of those.
Yeah.
Like when the alternator belt went on my Camaro.
Yeah. That's like first thing. You should have extra belts.
I think I shredded 2. I think I had an extra, but I shredded it as well. But yeah, I was like, man, that's really embarrassing. I didn't have an extra belt.
Gosh.
It was only...
no other part stores had that specific belt.
Oh, it was 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we were 50 miles from the last track.
Yeah.
And it's pitch black. I'm just like... We're sitting there like that, like, damn, this really sucks. And then it starts raining. It's just like, of course, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's been some of your favorite drag and drive experiences then? Because, I mean, how young were you when you went on your first one?
I was 15 on my first one. It was the first Rocky Mountain Race Week, actually. And for most of the first race weeks, or like probably from 2015 to 2017, I went primarily with my mom. So my dad would do media stuff for it, and he might ride along with us sometimes, but my mom had a 66 Bel Air station wagon that had a 400 small block in it from Blueprint, and then usually ran on nitrous. So it made like 850 horsepower. It was her daily driver. Like, she would pick me up from middle school and high school in it. And she was like this short, 5'3", 100-pound like lady. And so from the first race week
Wasn't it like painted a crazy color or something too?
No, it was all patinaed white. It was all white, and then it was on air ride. Had like a Mosier rear end in it, full interior. It was a cool car, but I went on those a lot with her, and it was usually just me and her. But man, we had a lot of late nights, just following people, and I'm trying to think of like specific.
What was her motivation to go on them?
I think honestly, spend time with me and my dad. But it was mainly just me and her. Because my dad would be off doing media stuff or riding in, a rental car trying to get to the next track quick. So we got to spend a lot of like quality time together. Then my mom passed away from cancer in, I think it was 2018. Yeah, it had to be 2018. And like, we were on race week, not to bring the vibe down. We were on her last race week where she was already like battling cancer, going through chemo and radiation, where she like found out that all the tumors came back. But that last race week was so cool because she was bald, still racing. So when she ran her 11-second pass, like she ran her PB, which I can't remember exactly what it was, but she came back just freaking out, just like screaming, and Kyle from 1320 filmed it, and all of us are like crying because it's just a special moment.
Yeah, of course.
And then besides that, Tom McGilton, he has the Why Not Camaro.
Yeah.
So on race week, a couple of years after my mom passed, I think it was like 2 years, we put some of her ashes in the parachute of his car. And that was the first and only time, to my knowledge, that he ever went 200 mile an hour in that car. And I don't think he's gone a 6-second in it, but he went 200 mile an hour that one time.
I think I was there for that in Kearney.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And that was a really special moment just because it was, obviously like cool to see him spread some of the ashes, but
across the racetrack.
Yeah, but then to see him, like, that was his 200 mile an hour pass. So, but man, like, just growing up around drag and drives and around some of those people, it was really cool because, I made so many great friends and connections, and you know, had a lot of cool experiences that a lot of kids didn't get to have growing up.
Yeah, I mean, going to them at 15 years old is like a dream.
Yeah,
for sure. And seeing that and being around all that, and were you doing like some photography at that time?
Yeah, so the first Rocky Mountain Race Week was like the first time I picked up the camera.
That's where I like know you from originally. I was like, oh, he was doing photography at the Rocky Mountain Race Week that I went to.
Yeah, so I did that first Rocky Mountain Race Week was like I picked up some like old Canon camera that my grandma had laying around or something, and started shooting that first event, and then that's what like transpired into me, going on all the Dragon Drives and then creating photo packages for people, and then that turned into running social medias and then doing what I'm doing now, which is, content creation and then running Sierra 23. So
it was pretty smart to get away from photography because it's such an uphill battle.
Yeah, you're not going to make good money.
As much as I love those photographers and I have great friends that are photographers, it's such an uphill battle.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to get people to like pay what it's worth kind of deal. And then like once video started becoming more popular, I really started trying to get into more video stuff and like doing reels or like content creator packages where I would supply them with video clips and photos so that they can post on social media, throughout the week.
Yeah, you do that a lot at LS Fest.
Yeah. So now, like, I can't even remember the last time I shot an event, which is sad. Like me photographing at an event.
Like having 200 photos come out after an event type of thing.
Yeah, I can't even remember because now I just hire somebody. Like I hire a buddy of mine, or if we do have photo packages like we did last year at all the LS Fest events, I need to be out there either with my truck or creating content for myself or with some of my bigger clients. I just don't have the time to focus on that anymore. But it is fun, like, to pick up the camera and still like shoot. Like I'll take photos of, like, my daughter or my wife or, at some random event that I'm at that I have the camera at. But I can't remember, like I said, the last time I really like shot a full event.
Well, I kind of forgot your photo background, like, and that's how I knew you from. I was like, oh, Cole, he's taking photos on the side of the track. Like that was how I always saw you at these events.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot until just now that I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because now I only know you from like the social media side of things.
Yeah. And it was fun. Like I said, I met a lot of really cool people. I got to shoot a lot of really cool photos and of a lot of really cool cars, when I was doing that.
Yeah, you've done a few Freedom 500s as well.
Yeah, I did that. Did Les Mullets. I've shot stuff at, Grid Life events, at Bonneville, at Pikes Peak, several times. I shot Pikes Peak for the first time when I was like 18 years old. And so that really like showed me what I was passionate about, which was like the content side. I just didn't want to keep trying to like have people buy my photos, because like you said, it's an uphill battle.
It's such an uphill battle. And there's a few that can really make it work.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think a lot of them that don't make it work are ones that are just stuck in like the art of like, this is a photo, you buy the photo.
Yeah.
They never really like, you have to be pretty creative.
Yeah.
Outside of like just the photos, like how you sell it, how you monetize the photos. You have to be pretty creative.
And I think too many people who are like doing photo packages now at different events, they charge too much. I mean, we're all racers at the end of the day. We spend our money on our cars. We don't have hundreds of dollars to spend on photo packages. So if you're charging somebody like $600 for a week of photos, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah.
And so that's something I always try to, be cautious of when I was selling photo packages. How much would I pay for this? So I would do $100 photo packages, or, sometimes I would go up to like $250 depending on, what was included. But I always wanted to make sure like that the racer was getting taken care of.
I mean, yeah, my car almost looks the same in every photo, so it's very rare that I'm like, I don't need like a whole package. Like one photo to put on the wall from this event is really all I need. Like, what else am I going to do with more than one photo?
But some of these people are selling like one photo for $50, and I'm like, dude, what the heck? That took you a couple seconds to shoot.
Unless you're giving it to me in like a print, like at a track, like somebody that brings it on the spot and they're like, here for $50, it's framed. Yeah. I buy those.
Oh yeah, I would do that too. But I'm not paying you over $20 for a digital photo of my car launching, unless it's some spectacular, crazy thing. You know, like if you were doing a giant wheel stand and you sit it up on the bumper, maybe you'd pay for that photo, right? But these other guys that are selling these photos for like a lot more than they're worth, I don't understand.
I've been around quite a few people that bought photos just for thumbnails.
Yeah.
And seen that a good amount. Sometimes the photographers will give it to them, but I'm like, if it's a big YouTuber, they should.
Garrett has used some of my photos for thumbnails, and I'm happy that he did, and he didn't pay for them, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
But some of these people that are like full-time photographers, like, you know, throw them some cash if you're going to use their photo, because there's not watermark on the thumbnail. If there is, it's not legible.
No, you can't.
So they don't really get anything from it. So it's like, come on, throw them the $40 for the photo if you're going to use it in a thumbnail.
Yeah, I get it to a certain point. I think that I was doing it more for just like the love of it.
Yeah.
You know, so when Garrett would be like, hey, I want to use this photo, or somebody else would be like, hey, I want to use this photo as a thumbnail, I'd be like, hell yeah. Because then I would brag to my friends like, hey, man, Cletus just used this photo, you know, as a thumbnail, you know, or like you use a photo as a thumbnail. It's like,
but then like at a point when it's like, oh, this is my full-time deal.
Yeah.
Like I got to feed my family off of these photos. Like,
Then at that point I would understand, you know, like paying for a thumbnail photo. But
I've often even wondered if the photographers could make it even more worth their while if they did like YouTube basic slideshows with some music where like you can turn it on and like on a TV and like it'll just go through them.
Yeah.
Just like as another form of like trying to make something happen to where it'll just like something that could be on in the background.
Yeah.
And just kind of keep going. Cause I don't know. It seems like there's less photographers at every track. At some like big events, like I heard that Ducks race, the radial race, people are like, there's like no photographers on the sides.
Yeah. TX2K was wild. I will say that. There was a lot of TX2K.
A lot of media.
Yeah.
And a lot of iPhones.
Yes. And when I was shooting a lot of photo, like just content in general, once people were just standing on the starting line using iPhones, it was kind of just like, oh my God, like, dude, get out of our ways. But now I understand because if I'm going to film a video, it's on my iPhone just because it's convenient.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the moment, for how quick and convenient it is, I can shoot a video, be done by the time I'm finished setting up the settings on my camera. So,
well, I know people with, you know, a couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube that film and edit on their iPhone.
Yeah.
They use the built-in editing software.
iMovie or whatever.
I don't know which one they're using if they're on the phone, but they're using like some app.
Yeah.
You know, it could be CapCut probably.
Yeah.
It could be, YouTube's got their own, like it could be anything, but they're just using their phone.
Yeah.
They're doing it all on a cell phone from the film to the edit.
It's cool to see. I mean, you know, I still can't believe like some of these bigger YouTubers that are, I think we were talking about earlier, like that Garrett still edits his videos.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
On a trackpad. No mouse. Just a trackpad.
It's insane.
Well, he needs to be quick. He doesn't want to wait on anyone.
Yeah. And that is understandable. And I mean, it's nice to see like the consistency in his videos, you know, and it's what, like you said, it's what he would want to see, you know, because he's the one editing them. So there's always going to be the same.
Like if somebody's going to be slower to edit, cost a bunch of money, it's like you might as well just keep that for yourself.
Yep. And he knows in what clip what happens, you know, so if somebody's not having to sit there, watch the clip and then go back and edit it, he's like, all right, I already know what happens in the next 3 clips. I can know where to cut it. I know, you know, how to do everything. And then
and like the daily uploads on like a race week, what do? You're going to send that all out to an editor?
Yeah. Then risk not getting it back for, you know, a couple extra hours and then he's screwed.
It's got to go up.
Yeah. No, props to him. Like it's really cool that he's doing that.
The daily content is really tough. And there was some people on Sick Week that I know that are YouTubers and they were just filming. I'm like, you haven't posted anything yet? No YouTube yet? And then came out like a week or so after, and they were like, yeah, it busted.
Yeah, at that point, like
it's over.
The hype is over. And
we all know what happened.
I hate to say, like, the Dragon drives aren't what they used to be either. Like there's not as much hype around them anymore. You know, I think that some of them, like Sick Week, obviously, but a lot of these other Dragon drives, I mean, there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
That it's not what it used to be. You know, it was cool.
Super saturated.
Oh, yeah. But it's cool to see like Larson coming back out. I know he's going to do some Dragon drive this year with the truck again with the S10. So that'll be neat. But also, at like what point does it just stop? Like, at what point are these cars fast enough to just be like, all right, yeah, we're good?
No such thing.
It's crazy.
No such thing. It is super saturated, and I feel bad for Matt Frost because I feel like he kind of got like such a short end of all this deal, just the way that it shook out for him with like Bandemir disappearing. Kind of like that was like the cornerstone.
Yeah.
To Rocky Mountain Race Week. I mean, it was the only reason it was Rocky Mountain Race Week.
Yeah.
And it just
none of the other
like,
tracks are really. Yeah, you don't drive through the Rocky Mountains to go from, you know, Great Bend to Kearney or Pueblo.
Yeah. And there's those tracks are like not that interesting. They're not like particularly great tracks for going fast.
Yeah.
Like Bandemir was like the fast track.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it was a bit of a rug pull. Hopefully Bandemir comes back out in the next like year or so.
Yeah.
I know they're pretty far out still. But like I don't know. I feel like he just got a bad end of the deal, not by anybody's doing.
Yeah.
It just happened. And he put in so much effort for such good events.
Yeah.
Over years. You know, like Drag Week is still...
He paved the way. I mean, like Drag Week, yeah. Drag Week was obviously the OG, but like for modern day Dragon drives, like Matt really helped make them become what they are today.
Yeah, like rule sets and how people kind of engage with each other on a Dragon drive, like the camaraderie was very from Matt Frost's, like the vibe that he put out was really how it kind of all came to be. Yeah,
because from my understanding, you know, Drag Week is more cutthroat. People aren't going to go help their competitors. But at Rocky Mountain Race Week, you would see legit, like the two top guys helping each other out in a class, you know, if they were both stuck on the side of the road.
And like all the top guys kind of got their name at Race Week. Yeah. Like pretty much all of them.
Yeah. Like, I remember the early days of, you know, like when Doug Klein was running his orange Camaro. You remember that car?
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of like who else. Like I remember that hearse. Remember the black hearse?
The hearse is still around.
Yeah?
It still runs.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I think it was at Sick Week.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
It tows the
coffin.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Yep. 8-second car. Big tire deal.
This is insane. That's another thing. Seeing all these like small tire cars or, you know, these radial cars, like going, I mean, Brett obviously going deep in the fives, and all these other guys that are like, no, we need big floppies, you know, for drag drives and stuff. And then it's like, bam, you know, low 6-second passes from like him, Devin Vanderhoof, like all these other guys being like, wow, okay, maybe big tire isn't the way to go for all of these, you know, fast classes.
I'm still surprised that they haven't put a small tire on Bailey's car because it could run a 315. There's no reason why it couldn't.
Yeah.
And the tire shake is what kills those cars so much on the Dragon drives.
It just breaks so much crap.
It just right through the driveline, just like breaks the trans, breaks the gear fenders. Like it's just so hard on those cars.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it definitely feels like it kind of like peaked a little bit, maybe in like 24.
I would say even earlier than that.
Even earlier.
Yeah.
Damn, it's kind of sad.
It is. I haven't been on one since
they
I
are
think
so
24.
Great.
And I think back in 24 when I went on my last one, it was still just like, all right, like, cool. I mean, Sick Week is fun. I'm not knocking Rocky Mountain Race Week, but like I've been on so many of those that like I want to see different things. And I like a lot of the big guys will go to Sick Week, but not Rocky Mountain Race Week. So if I had to like say when it like really capped, I think it was back in like 22. Maybe it was 23. You know, when I think Garrett was still running them, you know, if it was with Ruby or whatever. But and I don't want to say it capped just because Garrett stopped going, but
no, of course.
That was when everybody was just gunning to be like the fastest guys out there, and more of the fast guys cared about it. But it's still cool to see like newer cars being built to go out there. Devin Vanderhoof's Mustang that thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
That white Mustang. I saw it at PRI. Then he's going out there and like first event out, clicking off mid to low 6-second times. I'm like, golly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sad that he caught the car on fire, but
he almost made it.
Yeah.
He was so close.
Yeah, because he would have won overall, right?
Yeah.
That would have been insane.
Brett
First
took
event
the
out.
year off.
Yeah.
It was wide open.
Yeah.
Like none of the other really big guys were really there. They didn't let what's his name in with the truck. They didn't let Larson in with the truck. Truck was there in Florida.
Oh, and that
ready
sucks.
to go.
That sucks because I would have loved to see that truck run. But I understand you don't want to like let Larson in just because he's Larry Larson.
I think they should have an invite situation.
Like an open invite to like drag and drive. What would you call them? Like veterans, like the big guy veterans,
or have like X amount of space opens for like cars that are going to go 6s and faster.
Yeah,
like almost like an expedited approval process, just because it makes the show better.
It does,
and like I think we can all agree it's cooler to see a couple 6-second cars than more 10-second cars.
Well, because like think of it would have been like Larson versus Lutz win, right?
I think Lutz was there that year.
Yeah, so think of like Larson, Lutz, and Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Like those three guys just gunning it out against each other. Because, they all have history together.
Yeah.
They've all gotten into it before.
Ned Dunphy did it in his Viper, which was really sick too.
So to see like all of those, it would have been sick. It would have been really cool to see all of them run. And I'm sure Larson will run Sick Week next year, but who knows?
Is Drag Week kind of just like...
I've never been on Drag Week.
Me neither. I've never even
So one Drag and Drive I've never went on. I do the same. I don't pay attention to it anymore.
But Finnegan says it's still the best. Finnegan says it's still like the gold standard.
Yeah. They have so many weird classes to me. But I like Race Week and Sick Week just because it's more simple.
I think Keith Turk is still like the guy for it, right? He's still...
Yeah.
I always like
Sick Week. But Sick Week and Drag Week don't have the same classes, or do they?
They have some similar overlap.
Okay. It was Race Week that did not have similar classes.
Yeah, they have their more unique stuff.
Yeah.
Because Matt will try some like weird things like that.
Yeah.
So you said you were shooting Bonneville?
I shot Bonneville when I was...
How do you even do that?
Dude, so this was before my mom passed away. It was while she was still going, I think she was going through chemo. I went in 2017. It was the 69th anniversary. I have a pin, and I always thought it was funny that, as a 17-year-old, I was like, 69, nice.
69th anniversary,
yeah.
Nice.
But I just remember getting out there and like not having a clue what to do and just rolling around in the rental car with my mom and dad. And, you'd go down to like the 4-mile marker and know like, okay, people are usually going to be cooking right here. But dude, I will never forget. I saw Wayne Jessel's Ram truck. This was like the first time that I ever saw like an incident happen on the salt. And dude, he was going over 200 mile an hour, just giant rooster tail coming out the back. And then I blink and it's just spinning, just down the salt, just flat spin, and I was like, holy crap, this is insane. Mm-hmm. And then to see him like, try to pull the chute and straighten it out and stuff. It's a different world out there. And then to see like cars literally, get sideways and pencil roll and shoot a motor and trans like 3/4 of a mile down the salt. It's insane. But a lot of the photos like I got that I liked was in staging, like in the staging lanes kind of deal, or like just a random car parked off in the salt with nothing else around it, like an old 32, Model A or something. I always thought that was kind of cool. But
yeah, because I imagine action shots are pretty complicated to get.
You have to have a long lens, to get like just panner shots or get people, on the starting line type of deal.
Yeah.
But I've only been that one time. It was really cool. I'd love to go. I would love to run Land Speed Race, like do that or like El Mirage sometime. But
Take the truck and do it. See what it'll do.
That truck will never...
Pull the arrow off the truck.
I would take that truck to El Mirage, but I would never take that truck to Bonneville. The salt just gets everywhere.
Oh, but the dirt seems so miserable.
Yeah, I've been to El Mirage a couple times, and it is. I mean, once it gets windy out there,
salt seems nicer than just like to be around and like, you know, not have everything dusty.
And you've never been out there before,
No.
right? Okay, the one thing that if you know, you know, but your downstairs will get sunburned because of the sun
reflection
going off the salt up your pants or up your shorts leg.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got to be careful out there.
That sounds rough.
Sunscreen everywhere.
You wear like tight enough boxers to not.
Dude, I think I just wore jeans. Like, honestly, it was hot out there, but you know, I would rather suffer and be sweaty than have my nads sunburned.
That does sound exciting.
Yeah.
I've always heard it's pretty great to go out to the salt flats. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's a different world.
I'd love to try to like get into, you know, find a way to get into like that 200-mile-an-hour club.
Yeah.
Seems cool.
Yeah.
Just to get like the hat.
Yeah, it's like a prestigious club. And it's cool because you can't just like, a lot of people think, oh, they went 200 mile an hour, they got the hat. It's like, no, you have to set a record over 200 mile an hour, you know, and then back it up. So.
Yeah, you don't just go over 200 miles an hour. You actually have to get the record.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think that I've seen people do it in the same car.
Yeah.
And then
Keith Turk's car. Yeah. He's gotten several people into the 200 mile an hour club.
But I've seen like the record be broken in the same car where they just make like another tweak and they break their own record.
Oh, yeah.
So then the next guy gets ahead.
Yep.
Because they break their own record. So it's like, oh, yeah, like
makes sense.
You know, we broke our own record because Jay from RS Garage goes out there all the time. And I think he's got a 300 mile an hour hat.
Yeah. Isn't it blue?
Yeah.
I think it's blue.
That's a cool flex.
I will never get one of those, but, you know, who knows? If anybody wants to put me in a land speed car, I will happily drive it.
300 is pretty sick.
Yeah. I'm fine going 200. I want to go 200 in the truck in like a half-mile event. That's probably...
Oh, but you wouldn't do land speed or just not on the salt?
Yeah, just not on the salt. I just don't want that truck to get eaten up and rusty, but I think... The truck's geared to go like 170 right now. So maybe after I like get the bugs worked out this year and next year, third year, re-gear the trans and like try to go for 200 mile an hour number.
Yeah, so let's touch on the truck.
Yeah.
Because obviously the truck is like your personal claim to fame, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's what most people know me for.
Yeah. The little love truck, blue Summit wrap on it currently.
Yep. Yeah, so it was white for a long time, but yeah, it's a 74 Chevy Love that I bought when I was 13 out of like Tucson, Arizona. And it was all the money I had from working at car shows and washing cars in my neighborhood and literally any odd and end job I could do. Slowly started building it. And then once I moved back to Texas, after my mom passed, I took it up to a buddy of mine's shop, Do Soul Designs, that has they build crazy cars, and he has a crazy Camaro and stuff. But I ended up doing a full tube chassis build with its Mustang 2 geometry in the front, and then I based all the rear geometry off of a 5th gen Camaro. And then I put a twin turbo LS in the back, moved the seat to the center of the truck so you drive it like a Formula car. Big aero. It's a SEDEV sequential transmission, transaxle. So it's a wild truck.
It definitely is. When you see it, it's like very clearly like wild. It is like very far from love truck looking at all.
Yeah, it doesn't have bedsides on it right now. And so it just looks like a legit Hot Wheels truck.
What power do you think it's built for? Like, what is that engine? What kind of engine what's the engine setup?
So that one, I just did a video on this the other day on my socials, but it's a bone stock 5.3 LS out of a Tahoe, and it's a Gen 3 motor.
Yeah,
180,000 mile. People are like, oh, but you know, you put pistons in it, or you put like bearings. No, I took the oil pan off. I put a Holley pan on it. I put a Holley high rim on it. I put Holley valve covers and Hooker Corvette manifolds on it, and then I strapped 2 Zona rotor twin turbos to it. And I've been beating the crap out of it. So it probably makes, I think it's on like 5 pounds right now. it probably makes like 450, 500 horsepower.
That's pretty healthy. It probably lived pretty long like that.
Yeah. And people are like, you didn't gap the rings? I'm like, bro, it has 180,000 miles. Like,
yeah,
the rings are gapped. Like, it's fine. So, dude, I fired it up. And this motor sat in my buddy Chris's garage for like 2.5 years, upside down. Fired it up. Dude, it doesn't smoke a bit. It is just, it purrs away.
Just a well-kept Tahoe engine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I threw some Seymour paint degreaser all over it, you know, just cleaned it up a little bit and threw it in the truck. I have a 388 for it that Boostline Performance out of Wichita built, and it's a sleeved aluminum 5.3 block with AFR heads. I think it's a BTR crank, and then it's like Cali's rods, Wiseco pistons, BTR valve train, like.
So basically, what will the turbos make? Will be the next step. Like, what can the turbos make?
Pretty much. Like, I want to make 1,000 horsepower on the dyno like once, just to show like, yeah, the truck is.
Because they're not huge turbos, right?
No, they're like 62, 64s.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them smaller to spool quick for autocross and road course stuff.
Yeah.
And just because I didn't need to make a ton of power, but they spool real fucking fast.
That's
like
what I figured.
real fast.
Well, and being like a sequential trans like that, like a.
Yeah. And it's such a cool feeling to drive that truck, but I don't think that I'll continuously like run it above 1,000 horsepower, even with that 388. Like, I'll back it down to 750 and have that engine live forever and just still scare the crap out of myself. Like, I get in that truck every single time, I scare myself, not because I do something stupid, but just because it's so fast
and light.
And light,
the power to weight ratio is probably pretty crazy.
Yeah, it weighs right around 2,600 pounds and makes 500 horsepower. And you sit like on the chassis.
So
what
are the goals with the truck then? Want to
go
build
fast,
something cool.
Go fast, do cool shit, make cool content, hang out with fun people, and
be a cool conversation piece, fun hoon around truck. It only has the one seat though.
Yeah.
Have you thought?
I
tried
to
squeeze another.
I mean, my wife sat next to me, like kind of like on the floorboard of it, and I like drove her around in it. But I wanted to put a bomber seat in it or like something small.
Yeah.
There's not enough room.
What about like a mini Kirky for the kid?
I thought about doing that too. Yeah.
They have like the kids legend car.
I think that would be a great video. That'd be really cool. I'm totally gonna look into that.
Those like they have like the tiny kids Kirkies.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to look into that. That'd be cool.
Because that would probably fit. I don't know how big the cabin is. I haven't really like
gotten to sit in it tomorrow
in person yet. Yeah, I want to go see it tomorrow because you brought it in for the Freedom 500.
Yeah, it'll be sitting
out there. We'll try
to
get you on the burnout pad with it.
Dude, I did a launch in it like 2 days ago, and it was the first time.
Burn off the set of tires. What are they? Some cheap junk tires, right?
Those are Falcons. So I mean, the Falcons aren't. It doesn't have the Michelin slicks on it, but.
Oh, okay.
I did like a baby burnout like launch in it for like a video I did for Wirecare the other day, and even that I was like, I don't want to hurt this. The transmission costs more than anything on that truck, and I will flat out say it was like a $23,000 transmission. I did not have the money when I first bought it, but Sadev, which is the company out of France, it's like the same company that did the transmissions in all the Hoonigan cars. So like the Hoona truck, Hoonicorn, Hoona Pig, all that. They let me put half down up front. What I didn't tell them was like that was all the money in my bank account. It was like 10 grand.
You're like, I think need this transmission. There's no other option.
Exactly. I was like, I would break every other transaxle that would go in it. If I did like a Porsche G50, it would hold like 450, 500 horsepower. Yeah. And then I told my wife, who, I mean, we had been dating for probably like 7 months at that point. And things were serious enough to be like, okay, I'm making this decision, I just want to let you know. She was like, do you have the money to pay for like the other half? And I was like, no. But they give me a year until the transmission's done to pay it off. So
gotta figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that time came around and I didn't have the money. I was really close. I was like $4 or $5 grand off.
Okay.
But this dude I know fell on some hard times and he had a skid steer that he needed to offload. Like he needed to sell it. He was like, dude, whatever you sell it for over like 50 grand, like you keep. And so I sold it for like 55 kept the $5,000, and that's how I paid the transmission off. But I was like, I was freaking. I was like a couple weeks out, and I was like, I need to sell this freaking skid steer. Who the hell's gonna buy a skid steer from? I was like 21 at the time, or like 22. I was like, who's gonna buy this, dude? And then I was broke again for months and months, and just saved up every little penny to put back towards the truck, and
waiting on this expensive ass transmission to show up.
Yeah, and then once it did, I couldn't use it.
Yeah, the car wasn't done.
No, and it wasn't done for several years after that. But it was cool looking.
It's like this focal point sitting in there.
Yeah, it was a $23,000 paperweight at that point. That everybody kept saying, "You're not gonna finish that truck. You're gonna sell that truck." Like, and I had people offer me good money for the project, like $80,000 at one point. Mm-hmm. I mean, like when somebody offers you $80,000 and you're 22, 23 years old, you're like, huh, that could be nice.
Well, Tremec has that transmission now that might work.
Yeah, the one that's like based off the C8. Yeah,
it kind of is like.
Yeah, if it was out back then, I mean, the C8 wasn't even out when I was really starting to build that truck.
Plan to shift it? I don't know if they have any plans to do. I don't know why they did that.
I don't either.
It seems like a weird thing that they announced with no plans to do anything. It's like, who is this for?
Yeah, it's like you would have to swap it into something else, but there's so many other logistics that go into it.
Yes,
there's a lot of logistics that went into that truck that I didn't even think about, initially.
Is it like cable shifted?
Yeah. So I ran a cable to a lever, and I actually shifted on the left side, and the fuel cell sits next to me underneath like an aluminum bulkhead. So yeah, I shift on the left, and then I get in and out the right. So it's kind of like right-hand drive. Mm-hmm. But I did that because I actually moved the seat over, and I'm hoping that certain people don't watch this video, but I moved the seat over about 1.5 inches. And I get in and out the right, and I shift with the left, which means that it's a right-hand drive vehicle. It's not center hand, or it's not center drive. It's close. So that when somebody bitches about the truck being center drive and be like, oh, that truck should be outlawed, go measure it.
Center, because there's center drive in road course stuff where it's like.
Yeah, they could say like, it's based on like a formula car or something, like some stupid comment. But I'll just be like, no, it's right-hand drive, actually.
Yeah, you can check.
Yeah.
I've always said that about the McLaren F1, too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look at the way you shift.
Yeah.
That tells you what side,
Yeah.
it really is for.
Yeah, and I wanted to do paddles in the truck initially, but to run a class called Track Mod at Grid Life, you have to have a lever. So I was like, a lever would still be cool,
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's the sequential lever.
Yeah, it feels cool to drive,
And like the gear whine, I'm sure, and like,
dude, it's insane. Like if I'm just idling that truck at like 10 mile an hour in first gear, all you hear is like
straight cut gears are so cool for that reason.
Yeah,
they're so whiny and loud and just like. But would you consider the truck pretty much done then, besides the engine?
Are project cars ever really done?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I mean,
it's done enough for now to
I've never had a project car take this long.
Yeah, it's done enough for now to like race it. But I mean, I'll look at my notes real quick. I need to mount the bedsides. I want to put bedsides on it, and then I need to fab up the flat floor for it. But that's out of 040 aluminum. Like, it's not a big deal at all. And then, other than that, I mean, yeah, you could say it's done. I want to design a new front end for it, like new fenders and bedsides out of carbon. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then blend all the flares in to where it's not like bolt-on flares, because I think, honestly, how the truck looks right now is not my favorite, but it is what it is.
Carbon sounds complex. That'd be sick.
Yeah. That company I was talking about earlier, Juice Designs, they have a CNC router. And so if I could design something up, design it all in like a mesh, then make molds off of that, that could be cool. It's also expensive. Like just the mold material, like the foam is insane. And then that doesn't even include what the cost of the carbon, and the resin.
Hopefully the first one is good.
Yeah, shit. It would have to be good.
Hopefully it turns out well.
Yeah, if it has dry spots, I'll be like, screw it. I'll just like brush some resin onto it and call it a day. Yeah, body work it and just wrap it the same color as the rest of the truck.
Yeah, just hide the carbon. Just be like, oh, well, it's not going to be exposed carbon.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. I was looking at their all-wheel drive chassis. That thing seems cool.
Yeah.
The deuce hole
Yeah.
all-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming, but it's definitely not the cheapest option. I'll just be like straight up. I mean, Mike is like a dad to me, and I've talked to him about it a lot. Like that chassis is not, we're not going to sell a ton of them, but there will be a lot of really cool cars built off that chassis because it's so universal that you could put it in a Mustang, you could put it in a Camaro, a Cougar, a C10.
Like the engine placement and being all-wheel drive and looking like it has some like really stout all-wheel drive parts seems like such a cool option.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw 1,000 horsepower at that and be fine. Like all the geometry is based off of his 67 Camaro that they've ran in Pikes Peak and Grid Life and USCA and all these different events. So the geometry is like a proven motorsport, like really good geometry. And then I think the transaxles R35 GTR. So
those are pretty stout. They're definitely not cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're pretty stout. Yeah. Like you were saying.
But that one, the 69 Camaro that they're building right now, I just love that it has a big block in it.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you for not going LS.
Can they put a Corvette transaxle in it?
So like that's what Mike.
I feel like that's what would be reasonable.
Yeah, it would just have to be rear-wheel drive at that point.
Stick shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Mike's Camaro ran a C6 or C7 or C6 transaxle for a long time. That was H pattern, and then he went to a Sedev because Sedev makes like a bolt-on option to make a sequential out of a Corvette, transaxle.
Yeah.
But
I guess I just imagine you could transaxle and then like put something off the front of the Corvette.
Yeah.
Transmission to make it all-wheel drive still.
I think it would be cool to do like a hybrid all-wheel drive, to have like a Tesla front drive motor, and then a transaxle in the back. I think that'd be so sick.
Man, I was just daydreaming about a Tesla swap the other day.
In what?
A mini truck.
Really?
Like get like a wrecked Model 3 and do like swap it into like a Tacoma, like a 90s two-door short bed Tacoma or something like that as like a kind of around town run around mini truck. Because it's become pretty simple to do. Like a lot of people have done it. There's Tacoma swapped Teslas. There's Colorado you could do like something like that. That's kind of like a shop truck-esque, but fun to drive.
And I don't like, everybody hates on electric cars. I don't mind them. I mean, I'm glad that not all motorsports went to like electric and, gas cars got banned and all that. Like, don't get me wrong. I will always own a combustion engine, vehicle.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a place for, some of the electric, swapped cars. I'm not going to hate on everybody's build. I'll never hate on, somebody's build just because it's, what they like.
The problem is with the electric stuff, it's often not like a build. It's just
it's just a swap.
A Tesla or just like a Tesla with some wheels.
Oh yeah. How much can you actually do?
Because like an electric, like a Tesla swap into something, that's a pretty big job. Like that's pretty impressive. Like if it's got like a Tesla subframe in it, like hats off. Like that takes some ingenuity.
Yeah.
But then, people that are just like at the Cars and Coffee with like a Tesla.
With a little wing and wheels,
some carbon bits.
Yeah, a little chin spoiler.
It's like, but it's fast.
Yeah.
I don't hate on electric. I've always liked electric. I like RC cars that are electric. Yeah. I like my power tools that are electric. Like I have no reason to be like, oh, electric's stupid, but I like it for bicycles, scooters, golf carts.
Yeah.
But not cars.
I drove a Tesla Plaid several years ago, and they're insane. I mean, the fact that you can get up to 170 mile an hour that fast, it's just...
It is very warp speed-esque.
Yeah, it's unlike anything else. And the fact that you can do that on the street.
Bronte said CJ is not sleeping.
Dang.
He's just sitting there. I can see him.
It's cool to see. Like, I mean, you and I really... we got closer, whatever it was, like 4 or 5 years ago. but that was before. I mean, either of us. You were around my age, like the age I am now.
Yeah.
I mean, neither of us had kids. You know, and
now it's like
everything's changed.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Well, I got to wrap this up because I got a kid inside that I have to go tend to. He's got a mild fever, and we've been going for about an hour and 20 anyways.
Oh, damn.
Cole, I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you at? Where can people find the truck?
So Instagram, it's just look up Cole Reynolds. It's _Cole_Reynolds. YouTube, Cole Reynolds. Facebook, Cole Reynolds. I don't have any crazy names. So, yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. And
yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the truck do a burnout.
Maybe.